Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive?
Always.
Okay, so today we're exploring Bally Binning's chapter, Wisdom Woven Through Adventure.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's from a collaborative book, where like a bunch of authors get together and each share their stories and stuff.
Gotcha, gotcha.
We're gonna like really try to pull out the juicy insights.
The stuff we can apply to our own lives. I like it.
Right. So Bally, she starts off in Leamington Spa,
Ah,
this place in England. I kind of picture it like, those cute little towns, quaint streets,
yeah.
manicured lawns, that sort of vibe.
I get you. Peaceful, maybe a little too quiet.
Exactly. And she even mentions working in her family's supermarket. So, not exactly the image that screams adventurer.
Not quite, no. But I bet that's where the twist comes in.
You got it. So, she's got this TAFL certificate, like her ticket to teach English abroad.
Uh-huh.
It's almost like she's holding this passport to a whole new life. You know what I mean?
Totally. It's that feeling of like, there's got to be something more out there.
It's like this restless energy. Have you ever felt that? That pull towards something bigger.
Oh, absolutely. I think we all have at some point is that desire to grow, to push beyond what's familiar.
And for Bally, it seems like her family is like a big part of what's holding her back.
The classic family
They
dilemma.
wanted her to stay close, follow that traditional path.
Marriage, stability, the whole shebang.
Yeah. And you can totally feel the tension there, right? Like her family's love and their expectations are kind of clashing with what she really yearns for.
It's tough when those things collide, but it makes her decision even more powerful, don't you think?
Definitely. Because in the end, she chooses to listen to that inner voice. She books a one-way ticket to Mexico City.
Oh, talk about a leap of faith.
Right. So she arrives and she doesn't hold back on the details. It's like bam, sensory overload.
Oh, I bet. Mexico City, that's got to be intense.
She talks about the sounds, the colors, the energy, car horns, street vendors yelling, the smell of food everywhere.
So she's like thrown right into the thick of it.
Yeah. It's like she's painting this picture with her words. You can practically feel the chaos and the excitement.
And that's what's so cool about stepping outside your comfort zone, right? You wake up all your senses.
Totally. It's like this whole new world is opening up to her.
Exactly. You're forced to adapt, to grow. You have to figure things out on the fly. Even just ordering food becomes this adventure.
Oh, and speaking of which, she tells this story about trying to buy rambutan fruit from a street vendor.
Rambutan, what's that?
It's this like spiky red fruit.
Ah, interesting.
Anyway, her Spanish was pretty limited at this point. And she's like struggling to communicate.
Oh, I can imagine that being frustrating.
But the vendor is so patient with her, like helps her through it.
Oh, that's sweet.
And it's like this little victory for her.
Oh, totally. It's those small wins that build your confidence in a new environment.
Right. And those wins, they kind of snowball into bigger things. Like
Mhm.
she ends up forming these really strong connections with people who become her like chosen family in Mexico City.
Chosen family. I like that. Tell me more.
There's Miguel, this guy with like an artist's soul, is how she describes him.
Ah, how
He
cool.
becomes her unofficial Spanish tutor. And Rosa, she works in advertising, like this powerhouse woman.
So they're almost like guiding her, showing her different sides of life in Mexico City.
Exactly. It's like through them, she starts to find her place in this new world.
And they're proof that you can find family anywhere, right? It's not always about blood ties.
So true. And Miguel, he's like this catalyst for her growth,
Mhm.
not just with language, but with like her whole perspective on life.
That's awesome. It's like language learning can be this doorway to so much more deeper understanding.
Absolutely. And he has this really interesting way of teaching her about culture and philosophy too.
Oh, tell me about it.
Like there's this anecdote about the word ser and a star. They both mean to be in Spanish,
Hmm.
but Miguel explains that ser is for things that are permanent, like I am a teacher, but a star is for temporary states, like I am tired.
Ooh, I get it. So it's like the difference between your essence and your current state.
Exactly. And it becomes this metaphor for Bally's own transformation. She's not just learning a new language, she's evolving as a person.
She's embracing new ways of being, of thinking. I love that.
And then there's Rosa, showing her the ropes in the business world, exposing her to all this energy and possibility.
So cool. So she's got these two influences, one nurturing her cultural understanding and the other igniting her professional aspirations.
Exactly. And these relationships, they become like essential to her journey.
It really shows the power of human connection, right? How the people we meet can shape our path.
Yeah. It's like they help her find her footing in this new world.
Yeah.
And she really starts to blossom. But we'll get